upon us, season 7, and I really feel Miami is always full of laughter. I mean, I'm crying along, I'm feeling the stories. What is one thing you really hope viewers see from you this season?
I feel like the season was very emotional for me. I feel like I'm normally not so emotional and I don't really share my downfalls sometimes or my darkest times. I feel like I'm more to share all the good things that have going on more so than the negative things. But I feel like this season I really relied on my friends. I feel like I really needed them. It was a hard time for me. I think when you are in a relationship and your kids are a part of it and it doesn't work out, it's just hard. It's hard on everyone.
Right. Who would you say your ride or dies were this season?
Stephanie, Alexia, Marisol, Julia, Gertie, most of the girls, honestly, they were all there for me in different ways.
That's great. That's what I love about Housewives. Although you guys can come apart and have some fights, it is a sisterhood. And I love when I see the ladies together having a great time, supporting one another through the ups and downs.
I feel like on our show, because we've been friends and we're friends in real life, we see each other, we hang out all the time, that it's like you could almost do anything to each other and be apologetic. It's almost like your sister, where you're going to make up with the person. We have downfalls and we have problems, but at the end of the day, like we really love each other. We come back.
I love that. And you mentioned Stephanie. How did she fit in among the girls? We finally got a newbie. I'm so excited.
She did really well. She's really sweet and kind. She's very nice, but she's definitely tough. And I feel like she, had a little she had a couple situations with some of the girls, but I think overall everybody really enjoyed having her. She brought a lot to the show. She's got a great personality. She's got a big personality, and I feel like it was fun for us to have a new person on.
That is so great. And I know during the season, things can get very hectic. It's a lot of drama. What are your go-tos for self-care during filming?
Sleep.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm done filming, I'm so tired. I'm like wiped out. I go to bed early. I feel like, and food. I love dessert. It's funny when I'm not filming, I'm so skinny. And as soon as we start filming Housewives, and it's like my whole life is on display, I feel like I just eat everything in sight. I need to start like working on that.
No, you're stress eating. You're like, what just happened? What am I doing? I need to come home. I need a piece of cake. I mean, it's a relaxation that you
Literally.
deserve it. After what you go through on this show, I'm like, a little dessert doesn't hurt.
Yeah, literally. I need a cheesecake after every time we have like drama or anything when we're filming.
And you and Jeff Kobe have been seen out a lot lately. I gotta say, you guys are so cute together. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. Are we gonna see him make any sort of guest appearance on Housewives, any cameos this season?
I feel like if you date me, you kind of don't have a choice because I do film a lot and I do feel like he's open to it. We haven't really had that conversation, whether he like what type of role he would play, if it would be big or small, but I do feel like he would, he's going to support me the same way I support him.
I love that. How do you feel like you bounced back after Marcus? That was a really public relationship on display. You opened up last season. Did you feel like you kind of gave yourself a hiatus from dating, or did you come back and you started dating intentionally and then you met Jeff? Talk to me about that process.
I honestly didn't date for like a year. I just worked on date.com, Larsa, like I worked on my businesses. I was really spending time with my kids, my friends. I really did not want to date anyone just because I feel like my relationship was so public. It was at the end, it was so draining. And I like, thank God made it out of it. It just felt like a really hard relationship to distance myself from it. So I didn't date for a year and then I just ended up going to a party and met Jeff and it just kind of happened naturally, organically. It wasn't something that I was looking for. I don't think he was looking to be in a relationship and it just kind of evolved to what it is now.
I think that's the best way, meeting organically, and it comes and the chemistry's there.
I went to this gym that I work at called DBC and it was like the 10-year anniversary and we just ended up meeting there.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so natural. So talk to me a little bit about date.com. How did you co-find this app and what are your intentions and what are your hopes that people who are using it can end up finding?
So last year I was single, my girlfriends, all my best friends were single. And we're like, let's go on a dating app. So we started researching all these dating apps and there was not a dating app that we liked that we're like, oh, I want to put myself out there on this dating app. And so I helped create date.com, which is powered by AI. It is the smartest dating app ever. There's like facial recognition. So there's no catfishing. You basically have to use the camera on the app to take your profile pic. So it can't be a photo that's, from previous, Instagram or whatever where it's altered. You can't catfish anyone because you have to use the camera that's on the actual app. And my favorite feature is you can voice call and video call from the actual app. So you never have to give anyone your personal phone number.
This is great.
I don't want to give a random guy my phone number. What if I have two conversations with him and we don't like each other? So it's like a fast way of dating. I don't want to swipe to see if I like you. I want to call you and see what your voice sounds like. I want to kind of get to it, you know? And there's like mass text messaging. So if you like five guys on the app, you can literally text five guys and say, "Hey, what's your weekend looking like?" It's a super smart app. It saves you so much time. There's a concierge service. So if you see someone you like, you can basically have the perfect date set up with you.
This is
And like perfect,
incredible.
yeah, perfect date set up for you. It's just a smart app. It makes so much sense. I feel like all my friends are single and I'm literally like, go on the app. You have nothing to lose. You can go on FaceTime with the person. You can call them. It makes dating so simple. Like dating should not be this difficult.
Right. It takes a burden off knowing that there's the AI part of it. So yes, you cannot get catfish because I feel like that is such a scary thing going on these apps, not knowing is this an old picture? Is it even them? But dating with AI, this is like the smartest thing I've ever heard. This is so smart.
Oh no, it's great. And you know what's so great about it? We don't have any of your personal information. We don't sell your data. We don't have your credit card. Everything is done through the Apple Store. So you don't ever have to worry about anyone even knowing anything about you. So if you're on the app and you meet love, amazing. If you're on the app and you don't find love, you can disappear. It's like great for people that want to find, a significant other and or meet, someone that you want to be friends with.
Someone who I think might be able to benefit from it could be Alexia. We've seen a lot of back and forth between Alexia and Todd from their divorce and they're hanging out again, then their divorce. What advice have you given her? Because you've gone through two public breakups of divorce and a breakup in the public eye. What advice did you have for Alexia dealing with the Todd situation this season?
I just had dinner with them a week ago.
Oh,
So
we're
it's
on.
kind of hard because when I see them together, I want them to stay together. But then it's like there's all this other hoopla. So I just want Alexia to be happy. I don't think she's ready for date.com. I think she's kind of happy where she is right now. I just want her to be happy. I want her to figure out her life with Todd and for them to work things out. Really, I think that's what she would want, I think.
She deserves it. She's been through a lot when it comes to relationships, especially on the show. Really hoping her and Todd can pull through this season or maybe next.
Yeah, same, same. I wish the best for them.
And Preston just graduated college. Congratulations. I'm assuming
Thank you.
as the kids get older, the landscaping of co-parenting changes. How are you and Scotty doing today? Where do you two stand?
We're friends. We've always been friends. I feel like we have a great relationship. We talk about our kids, what benefits our kids, what's best for our kids. We don't really talk about our personal lives. I don't ask him about his stuff. He doesn't ask me about my stuff. I think our relationship is strictly based on our children.
Is there ever any hesitation from either of you about sharing your kids' lives on the show?
I kind of asked my kids, I have a couple of kids that are athletes and they're more, they don't want the limelight. The only attention they want is on the basketball court. And I have to respect that. I let them shine where they want to shine. And I have a couple of kids that don't mind being on camera. Preston and Sophia don't mind being on camera. They like it. So, I kind of put them on air with me. I'm like, you guys, I have such great kids. I want the world to see my relationship with my kids and how great you guys are. But I feel like for Scotty and Justin, they're so private and they don't want the attention. They just want to focus on basketball. And, I have to respect that.
I love that. Yeah, it depends on which kid. Some of them enjoy the spotlight and some of them might be like, I'm more reserved. I know definitely my brother would be like, no cameras anywhere. And I'm like, give me all the cameras I can get. So it's definitely
Yeah.
by child.
I think it's like your personality. If you like it, then it's easy. And if you don't like it, then I don't think I don't think my boys would like the ones that don't like the camera. I don't think they would say a word. Like they would just be quiet the entire time.
Right. And as season seven approaches, what is one thing you really want viewers to keep in mind as they're watching you and your journey unfold on camera this season?
I mean, I share so much of my life, and dating is not easy. And I feel like bringing someone into your life is not easy. And it's just like, I don't know. I just, it was a tough season for me, just sharing so much of the emotional roller coaster that I went through and, you know, leaving a relationship that I knew that I couldn't be a part of anymore. I think it's like, it was hard on me. It was hard on my family.
What did you do to get through it in those times? Because part of the breakup, the cameras weren't rolling and you were dealing with it on your own. And then when the cameras go back up, it's so heightened. Questions are being asked. How did you deal with that backlash and just the public scrutiny on the relationship to begin with?
I kind of relied on my friends. I relied on the people that love me the most, that I have a good relationship with. I feel like most of the girls were there for me. They, showed me love and they were there and they were very supportive of my decision. So, it's really nice to be a part of, a friend group like this because most of the girls were really concerned about me, checked on me all the time. We, shared a lot of personal information, and it's just nice to have friends like that.
Yeah, I love that. And could we ever expect you back on the mic, maybe doing a solo podcast, any other ventures? Because I know you and Marcus' podcast is dissolved. Could we get you on the mic though? Because I think you have a lot to share and that could be really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing my podcast. I thought it was super fun. I definitely want to do it again for sure.
If you could pick one co-host to have in the Bravoverse, who are you choosing from any franchise?
I'm probably choosing maybe someone very different than me. I feel like Carolyn Stanberry is very different from me. She wants to focus on all the negative stuff, and I want to focus on all the positive stuff. So it'd probably be great because we'd be bickering the entire time.
Opposites attract. I love that. And leaving season 7, was there anything you walked away maybe worried about being on air or worried about another woman on the show seeing? Or do you feel like you walked away from the season feeling pretty good and happy with where it ended?
I feel like when people break up, it's kind of a hard situation. Like, I never want to be in a situation where I speak negatively about someone that was in my past. It's not a good feeling for me. I don't like to bash someone that I'm not with anymore. I feel like when I break up with someone, it's like, I wish you nothing but the best. And, I kind of want to move on thinking of all the good times we had. But I feel like this season was tough because it was like, I couldn't move on. It was hard for me to like move on because the person like Lisa kept bringing that person back into my sphere. And it was just that part was hard because I feel like when you're breaking up with someone, it's definitely better for your mental to cut all ties, move forward, and not have the person in your sphere. But when your friend is literally like making it really hard for you, it was tough because I didn't want to like show all the negative aspects of my previous relationship because of course there were good things, but it was like I wasn't happy with how I couldn't just move on. I couldn't just cut the ties and move on.
Yeah, and I feel like you've always had Lisa's back. I feel like you were definitely a champion for her and a ride or die. Do you feel like you got the same this season or not really?
No, I didn't get any of it. No, I feel like I'm such a good friend and I give my relationships 100% no matter what I do. If it's with a significant other or my girlfriends. And I feel like when I don't get that reciprocated, it's hurtful. When you need someone and they're not there for you the same way you've been there for them for so long, it just feels like, it makes you feel bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a lot to see this season. I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds. Thank you so much, Larsa.